Hosting the Olympics is an honor for any city, and Los Angeles will enjoy that privilege in 2028. However, they'll need to get the LAX ready to accommodate the millions of visitors coming. But with the renovations estimated to cost around $14 billion, the real question is, can they get it done on time? Or will the chaos of delays and budget overruns cause LA to falter on the world stage? Stick around to find out how this gigantic project could make or break LA's moment of glory. With millions of visitors expected to troop into Los Angeles for the 2028 Summer Olympics, it comes as no surprise that the city's international airport, LAX, is undergoing some serious transformation. As I already mentioned, this project will cost as much as $14 billion, and the organizers will be hoping that it'll be money well spent. And while turning the airport into one of the most beautiful in the world is one of the goals, the main purpose of this massive project goes beyond mere looks. There are real issues LAX has to address if it's going to successfully welcome its visitors in 2028. The first of these issues is to reduce traffic congestion at the airport, as their existing terminals and runways are nowhere close to handling the task ahead. General airport efficiency is another serious concern, as connecting roads and other airport infrastructure needs to be upgraded. So how does LAX plan to manage this? Let's do a step-by-step breakdown of how exactly $14 billion will be spent to fix LAX's problems just in time for the Olympics. One of the most important aspects of the LAX project is the expansion of the existing terminals. Most notably, a brand new 1.4 million square foot terminal called Terminal 9 will be constructed. This new terminal will serve both local and international flights and will have as many as 12 gates that are spacious enough to accommodate wide-body aircraft. But here's something interesting. The announcement for the new terminal had been made since 2019, but till this day, construction hasn't been finished. So what's the real reason for the delay? Before we investigate further, it's worth mentioning that the new terminal is scheduled to open in 2027, but only time will tell if this date is feasible. But it isn't just Terminal 9 that's in the works, as LAX expansion project also involves the construction of a new section called Concourse 0, which will be added to Terminal 1. This concourse will have 9 new gates for Southwest Airlines and is expected to make domestic operations more seamless. The good news is Concourse 0, which will feature perks like modern relaxation lounges, is set to be finished in 2026. To the engineers' credit, both Terminal 9 and Concourse 0 are designed with cutting-edge technology that'll completely change the LAX experience. It'll feature automated baggage handling systems that can speed up screening processes, and this will be very useful considering the millions of visitors expected to enter the city in 2028. Speaking of visitors, you won't believe how LAX plans to move people around the airport. An automated people mover, or APM, isn't exactly what you'd call brand new technology, but believe me when I say that LAX is taking things to a whole different level. For the sake of the 2028 Olympics, LAX is building an APM that spans a whopping 2.25 miles. This electric-powered rail system will connect all the airport's terminals with off-site parking lots, public transportation stations, and even car rental facilities. Once the APM is finished, there will be less dependence on personal vehicles and airport shuttles for movement around the airport. The APM will have 3 dual-track stations inside the central terminal area and 3 outside stations that'll be connected to transportation hubs and parking lots. As for its capacity, trains will move every 2 minutes, and each train will be able to carry as many as 200 passengers per trip. In total, the APMs are expected to move up to 10,000 people every hour. They'll also run round the clock, which means that passengers can access them regardless of the time of day. The APM system will also align with the airport's green initiative by using zero-emission electric trains, which will in turn reduce the airport's carbon footprint. Now, LAX's new APM is expected to be ready in 2026, but this is quite disappointing since construction kicked off in 2019. This begs the question once again, why the delays? Is it a lack of funds, engineering failures, or something more serious? That question will be answered shortly, but first, let's take a look at another problem LAX will face during its expansion and how they plan to solve it. What's the use of upgrading everything within the airport only to face congestion outside it due to poor road networks and infrastructure? That defeats the entire purpose of offering visitors a memorable experience, and this is why the LAX project is spending part of the $14 billion budget on improving the surrounding road networks. For decades, LAX has been known for its horrific traffic, especially around World Way and Sepulveda Boulevard, which are 2 main roads leading to the airport. But thanks to the modernization project, new access roads will be built to accommodate the large number of visitors expected in 2028. The project also aims to add new entry and exit points and expand major roads leading to LAX. For passengers who have to wait, they'll have the luxury of new metallic canopies that will be installed over the entrances of each terminal, which will protect them from the sun and rain. There will also be LED lighting systems that'll boost visibility during nighttime, and this will make navigating the airport easier for pedestrians and drivers. With these systems in place, traffic time will be cut down by as much as 30%, making movement easier for the foreigners coming to enjoy the thrill of the Olympics. But while the new road infrastructure will ease traffic inside and en route the airport, there are other major issues the project managers have to think about. I've already mentioned how LAX's expanded runways will be able to accommodate larger aircraft, and while this is good news, the last thing anyone wants is two aircraft colliding on the runway. To this effect, runway safety areas, or RSAs, are being built. These RSAs are buffer zones that protect aircraft from overshooting during takeoff and landing. As we speak, some of LAX's major runways like 6L24R and 7L25R are being expanded to handle more air traffic than usual. But that's not all, as runway status lights are also being installed, which will give pilots real-time visuals that can save them from fatal runway collisions. These new features will not only guarantee the safety of the pilot and the passengers, but will also ensure that larger aircraft can operate smoothly within the area. But it isn't just the safety of human life that's being considered, as the project is also taking environmental safety seriously. This is why solar panels have been installed across all the terminals to cut down on energy consumption, and eco-friendly construction materials are being used wherever possible. But that's not all, as water-saving systems are also being used, not only cut down on waste, but also adhere to California's water conservation goals. But of course, this is LAX we're talking about, which means safety also boils down to luggage. This is where the automated baggage systems come in, which will quicken security checks and improve baggage handling. There will also be facial recognition technology for local and international flights, which will reduce the need for physical contact during checks. Once it's all set, these innovations will make LAX one of the most technologically advanced airports in the world. So just how much did each of these upgrades take out of the $14 billion? As you can see, LAX is seriously trying to beat the clock in time for the 2028 Olympics, and the project managers aren't sparing any penny. But which part of the modernization took the chunk of the money? Well, as you'd expect, the terminal and airfield modernization cost the most. Specifically, this phase of the project gulped up as much as $10.5 billion. As for the automated people mover, it cost a modest $2 million, while road and infrastructure upgrades cost $1.5 billion. Now, considering the size of this project, it comes as no surprise that there will be more than 121,000 new jobs created, which will contribute in a major way to the economy of Los Angeles. And while this is great news, the challenges faced throughout the process have significantly slowed things down. Let's take a look at some of the obstacles the $14 billion LAX project has had to face. The bulk of the challenge the LAX project is facing stems from delays in construction, disruptions in traffic, and improper management of the budget itself. Since major upgrades to the airport's infrastructure are currently ongoing, it's been a real struggle maintaining day-to-day operations around the airport. Managing the flow of passengers alone, especially during peak periods, has been a nightmare, and this has caused major delays in getting to the airport, security checks, and even boarding. The construction of the APM has specifically led to the closure of the lanes along Sepulveda Boulevard and World Way, which has left many passengers and transportation services frustrated. But it doesn't even stop there, as some important sections of the airport have been temporarily shut down, which has forced some airlines to move their operations elsewhere. Disruptions in supply chains, thanks to the COVID-19 pandemic, have also slowed down the supply of building materials needed to finish the project. In fact, these shortages have also led to inflation in the prices of these materials and has caused several budget reviews, which has negatively affected the timeline for completion of some important milestones. Nonetheless, LAX officials are confident that they can meet up with the 2028 deadline just in time for the Olympic Games. But are they being realistic or just being hopeful? Currently, LAX can handle around 88 million passengers annually, but that number will increase to as much as 100 million during the duration of the Olympic Games. LAX officials will have to ensure that the expansions and infrastructure upgrades done in and outside the airport will be capable of handling the large influx of visitors so they can have the best possible airport experience. The good news is that these upgrades in both infrastructure and tech are being executed by some of the best engineers in the world, including Webcore Construction and HDR. Once completed, LAX, which is already one of the busiest airports in the world, will become a standard for what modern-day airports should be, and will position the city of Los Angeles as a major global gateway to the rest of the world. $14 billion is a lot of money to spend on an airport renovation, but as long as it'll transform LAX into the best airport in the world, then the management doesn't mind. And what better chance to show off the airport's new improved facilities than the 2028 Olympics? Keep in mind that this mega sporting event will not only attract the best athletes in the world, but also world leaders and enthusiastic supporters from every corner of the globe. If LAX gets it right, then it'll sell itself to hundreds of millions of people as the safest, most technologically advanced airport in the world. But only time will tell if the management can win the race to transform the airport into what they want it to be before the games kick off. But what do you think? Will LAX beat the clock or not? Head to the comments and tell us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more insightful megastructure content.